Greetings to each and everyone. My name is Vishnumi Taruk, together with my groupmate Doraemon Daklitan, and we are here to present our topic, which is Module 3, Lesson 1, entitled Responses to Conflict. So before anything else, let us first identify the objectives of this topic. At the end of the session, the students are expected to identify the different responses or strategies to resolve conflict, share and reflect from personal experience their ways of responding to conflict, and suggest the best response to different conflict situations. What is conflict? Conflict takes place whenever incompatible activities occur. So it is an expression of our difference, of diversity, or a manifestation of our needs or rights as having been suppressed. So conflict occurs when two parties has a disagreement or misunderstanding about a certain issue. Conflict is neither good or bad. How we respond or deal with conflict, our attitude and behavior to a conflict situation will color the consequence as either good or bad. So depending on how we approach the situation, conflict can either be good or bad. It is all up to us on how we approach the issue. So for now, let us watch a video that illustrates conflict and various responses to it. So as shown in the video, as I've explained earlier, conflict can either be good or bad depending on how you approach the situation. So the first two pairs who faced the conflict had approached the situation negatively, resulting in a bad consequence, while the second pair, which agreed to a solution in their problem, uh, had an agreement and then got into a So, as shown in the video, I've explained earlier, the conflict can either be good or bad depending on how you approach the situation. So, if you act negatively to the situation, you will end up you will end up facing a bad consequence and in a bad situation. But if the two parties agreed on a solution to that conflict, and they will end up peacefully resolve the conflict. Responses to conflict. There are different patterns or styles in responding to conflict. Depending on different kinds of people and different situations, the responses to conflict are like movement towards, or movement against, or movements away from others. It can also be assertive, satisfying your own concerns, cooperative, or satisfying the other person's concerns, or both, combining assertive and cooperative. The given importance to issues as well as concern for goals and relationships can also influence the kind of response or style we use in dealing with our conflict. So it is important to identify how important the issue or the conflict is and how important is our relationship to the conflict to the party that we're having an issue with. So it would help us decide what kind of response are we gonna use in dealing with that conflict. So there are five patterns in responding to conflict, which are avoidance, accommodation, compromise, competition, and collaboration. First is avoidance. Avoidance or do nothing. There is no movement towards or against another in the avoidance response style. Avoiding individuals moves away from another and do not address the conflict. Instead, they deny it and keep it hidden. For them, conflict is hopeless and they would rather accept disagreements and get out. They will not assert, they will also not cooperate. So in this approach, it involves not engaging with the conflict at all. Individuals who avoid conflicts tend to withdraw and deny the existence of disagreements. They prefer to let them pass, hoping that issues will resolve themselves. This style reflects a low concern for both the issues at hand and the relationships involved. Over time, avoidance can make conflicts harder to resolve, leading to a situation where both parties lose. Next is accommodation. In accommodation, I lose, you win. It is giving up or giving in to the other person. The individual neglects his or her own concern in favor of satisfying the concern of the other. The individual is unassertive and very cooperative. So, in accommodation, it involves yielding to the other person's needs or concerns, often at the expense of one's own. Those who accommodate are unassertive and but cooperative, prioritizing harmony over their own interests. So their priority is to satisfy the other party's concerns rather than prioritizing their own needs. They tend to avoid conflict by pleasing others, believing it is better to maintain peace even if it means neglecting their own concerns. Next is compromise. You lose, I lose. People who compromise are moderately assertive and moderately cooperative. Their objective is to find an expedient, mutually acceptable solution that partially satisfies both parties. Compromising is in the middle of accommodating and competing, giving up more than competing but less than accommodating. It means seeking the middle ground opposite, splitting the difference or exchanging concessions. So in compromise, it involves a balanced approach where both parties are moderately assertive and cooperative. And their goal is to find a mutually acceptable solution that partially satisfies both sides. This approach is often means making concessions and meeting halfway. So they end up agreeing to each other terms to resolve the conflict. Compromisers view conflict as a different difference that can be resolved through cooperation and are willing to give up something to reach a solution. Next is competition or confrontation or domination. I win, you lose. Competing is a movement against another response. It is power oriented, assertive, but not cooperative. Individuals will assert themselves in pursuing their interests even at other people's expense. Competition means defending your position and pushing it through, believing it to be correct, or simply due to the desire to win, even by force. So in this style, it involves one party asserting their interest aggressively, often at the expense of the other. Competing individuals prioritize their own goals and may use pressure or coercion to achieve their aims, viewing conflict as a contest where one side is right and the other is wrong. So ito yung mga taong pinipili talaga na sila yung tama even though sometimes hindi naman talaga overall na tama yung pinaglalaban nila. In this scenario, the focus is on winning rather than on maintaining relationships. So they do not give importance to the relationship to their relationship with the other party. Instead, their focus is just on winning the conflict or the issue. Next and last is the collaboration. I win, you win. In collaboration, the parties are both assertive and cooperative. They move towards the other in order to find a solution that fully satisfies both their concerns. Different opinions are tackled, weighed against each other and measured against the common aim. Differences are welcomed although they assert their own views while also listening to others' views. So in collaboration, it is characterized by high levels of both assertiveness and cooperations. The parties involved engage with one another to find solution that will fully satisfy both concerns. So now opposite to compromise that only partially satisfies the concerns of both parties. Here in collaboration, it should fully satisfy both concerns of two parties. This approach values differences and encourages open dialogue, allowing each party to express their views while also listening to others. So the two parties involved in the conflict will communicate and come up with a solution to their to the problem that would benefit both parties. Collaboration aims for creative solutions and mutual benefit, fostering stronger relationships. So these styles reflect different ways of addressing conflict. As I've said earlier, it is up to us to uh, decide what kind of approach are we giving the situation. But it is important that uh, we considered our relationship and the importance of the issue within the importance of the conflict, the issue that is involved in this conflict. So for the next topic, I will let my group mate, the Raymond Daklitan, take over.
Good day, everyone. Now, we'll proceed to responses and strategies to resolve a conflict. First is avoidance. So, avoidance is used when an issue is unimportant or when other more important issues are pressing. When you perceive no chance of satisfying your concerns, or for example, when you have low power or you are frustrated by something that would be very difficult to change. When the potential cost of confronting a conflict outweigh the benefits of resolution. When you need to let people cool down to reduce tensions to a productive level and to regain perspective and composure. When gathering more information outweighs the advantages of an immediate decision, or when others can resolve the issue more effectively. When the issue seems tangential or symptomatic of another, more basic issue. Accommodation. Accommodation is used when you realize that you are wrong to allow a better solution to be considered, to learn from others, and to show that you are reasonable. When the issue is much more important to the other person than it is to you, to satisfy the needs of others and as a goodwill gesture to help maintain a cooperative relationship, when you want to build up social credits for later issues that are important to you, when you are outmatched and losing and more competition would only damage your cause. When preserving harmony and avoiding disruption are especially important. When you want to help your employees develop by allowing them to experiment and learn from their mistakes. Compromise. Compromise is used when goals are moderately important but not worth the effort or the potential disruption involved in using more assertive modes. When two opponents with equal power are strongly committed to mutually exclusive goals, as in labor management bargaining. When you want to achieve temporary settlement of a complex issue. When you need to arrive at an expedient solution under time pressure as a backup mode when collaboration or competition fails. Now, competition. Competition is used when quick, decisive action is vital. For example, in an emergency, on important issues when unpopular courses of action need implementing. For example, cost cutting. Enforcing unpopular rules, discipline on issues vital to company welfare when you know you're right. When you need to protect yourself from people who take advantage of non competitive behavior. Collaboration. When you need to find an integrative solution and the concerns of both parties are too important to be compromised. When your objective is to learn and you wish to test your assumptions and understand others' view. When you want to merge insights from people with different perspectives. When you want to gain commitment by incorporating other concerns into a consensual decision. When you need to work through hard feelings that have been interfering with a relationship. So that's all for my report. Thank you.